Your kid's phone has more rules than your office. Let that sink in for a second. We are diving into an explainer today that tackles something literally reshaping the modern household, and that is setting absolute, non-negotiable digital boundaries. If you've ever felt that creeping sense of chaos when it comes to screens, apps, and devices under your roof, well, you are definitely not alone. We're going to look at the fascinating, highly physical ways families are finally taking back control of their time and attention in the digital age, and why the whole casual approach to screen time is officially dead. Okay, let's dive into this, because that quote almost sounds like a joke, doesn't it? But it's really not. We are seeing a massive, sweeping shift right now in how households actually operate. For the longest time, we kind of relied on these vague, hopeful intentions. You know, the ones, hey, we should really try to have less screen time this week, or maybe let's put the iPad away for a bit. And those gentle suggestions, they're failing completely. Instead, they're being replaced by explicit, fiercely negotiated, written agreements. Families are literally writing down the laws of the land when it comes to tech. They're treating device management way less like a casual suggestion and more like an intense corporate policy, complete with compliance checks. So why is this suddenly normal? Think about it for a second. A smartphone used to just be a basic communication device, right? A way to call home, maybe send a quick text. Now, families are feeling the very real need to draft up literal legal-style documents, tape physical tech rules to their refrigerators, and treat an iPhone or a tablet like it's a piece of heavy industrial machinery that requires specialized training and safety goggles to operate. To understand why the family dynamic has shifted to require this level of intense physical documentation, we've got to look at what these agreements actually demand from every single person in the house. Notice the sheer physical reality of these new agreements. We aren't just talking about a casual chat over dinner here. Families are utilizing printed contracts taped right to the fridge door. Allowed apps are strictly defined. There are absolutely no gray areas. Specific screen time windows are established and locked in. But perhaps the absolutely most vital element of this entire trend is that these rules increasingly apply to parents too. Families are waking up to a harsh reality. You simply cannot enforce a strict tech rule on a teenager, or a toddler for that matter, if you have a phone permanently glued to your own hand. Modeling healthy behavior isn't just a nice idea anymore, it is literally the load-bearing pillar of this entire system. If the adults don't follow the contract, the whole system collapses instantly. Section 1. Designed to distract us. The attention economy versus family well-being. To truly grasp why these rigid contracts are necessary, we really need to completely shift our perspective. For years, parents have carried this heavy guilt of excessive screen time, assuming it was just a personal failure. But, spoiler alert, it's not a parenting failure. It is a structural conflict of interest. Enter the engagement-based business model. The apps we and our kids use are designed by massive teams of highly paid engineers and psychologists. Their primary job, their entire mandate, is to maximize a user's time on app. So the crucial point is, you aren't just fighting a bad habit. You're fighting a billion-dollar marketing and product design machine that operates 24/7. External rules, like the family tech contract, are absolutely needed because these products are built, fundamentally, so that they will never, ever self-limit. They will gladly take every second of attention you give them. Moving on to Section 2, the gentle parenting trap. When nuance goes viral. So how have we historically tried to handle this digital tug-of-war at home? Well, recently, it's been through a specific lens of parenting that, unfortunately, got chewed up by the very attention economy we are trying to fight. As the quote here notes, gentle parenting went viral and then it broke. Now, gentle parenting is a widely popular and incredibly legitimate philosophy, but it got fed into the engagement machine. And what happens when complex, nuanced parenting advice enters the fast-paced attention economy? It gets totally flattened. Parenting advice cycles are shaped by what is clippable. A 12-second video of a perfectly calm response to a meltdown goes viral infinitely faster than the deeply complex reasoning and firm boundary setting that's actually supposed to back it up. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens next. The original philosophy was rooted in highly nuanced, calm guidance, but the viral caricature, it became these oversimplified 12-second sound bites that completely stripped away all the boundaries. And the reality for families who actually tried to implement that caricature, well, it became a slightly comedic but deeply, deeply exhausting scenario of endless, chaotic 20-minute negotiations with a toddler over a tablet. I mean, imagine trying to gently reason with a 3-year-old about the dopamine cycle while a bright animated video is auto-playing right in front of them. The nuance was completely lost in translation, and parents paid the ultimate price with constant, draining household friction. Which brings us to Section 3, Enter Authoritative 2.0, the course correction.
Because that endless negotiation theater just didn't work as advertised for so many families, we are seeing a massive course correction right now. People are just entirely burnt out on arguing with their kids over screen time. On one hand, you have that gentle caricature, the exhausting negotiation theater, the vague, pleading intentions of, hey, let's try to turn off the iPad soon, okay? But on the other side, a new wave is emerging to combat the chaos, and that's authoritative 2.0. This is the kind but firm wave. It brilliantly maintains the warmth and connection of gentle parenting for sure, but it pairs it with incredibly clear, unmoving boundaries. There is no more negotiation theater. The boundary is set, it's clearly communicated ahead of time, and it is firmly held without debate.
Let's move to Section 4 and see how this builds. The Family Tech Contract. Authoritative 2.0 in action. The family tech contract is the ultimate physical manifestation of that authoritative 2.0 mindset. It is the perfect tool to replace those exhausting verbal battles. So what does building this contract actually look like in practice? Well, first we see the phone bedtime basket, usually located right by the front door. Phones literally go to sleep before the humans do. Second, charging stations are strictly located outside the bedroom. No devices in the room where you sleep, period. And third, and I absolutely cannot emphasize this enough, built-in accountability checks for adults. Again, the adults must model this. If the parents are sneaking their phones into bed, the contract is completely void in the eyes of the kids. It is all about collective household rules firmly held by everyone. This entire explainer really boils down to a single, highly powerful concept. Products designed to never self-limit require firm external rules. You simply cannot gently negotiate with an engagement-based business model. You cannot casually ask an app that was engineered by teams of top-tier psychologists to steal your attention to, kindly give it back. It simply won't happen. The family tech contract, rooted entirely in that authoritative 2.0 approach, provides the hard, absolutely necessary external structure to protect your family's time, attention, and overall well-being from systems that basically view those things as currency. I want to leave you with this final thought to really chew on today. If a product needs a literal, physical contract to be used safely inside your own home, what does that tell you about the fundamental nature of that product? It completely changes how we view the technology we so freely invite into our living rooms, doesn't it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it helps you set some kind, firm, and highly effective boundaries in your own home.